Saitama is finally back. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with season 3, episode 1 of One Punch Man. It has been 6 years since season 2 aired. It aired in 2019, and I did react to it, so you can go check out my season 2 reactions. I did not react to season 1. I watched that on my own time, like back when that first aired. But season 2 I reacted to, and so now we're here at season 3. And last we left off, we ended with Garo being, beaten by Silverfang and Bomb. But I think it was Bomb. But he ended up getting rescued by the other bad guys. And I believe there was the centipede guy that Saitama defeated. Someone else was facing him first. I don't remember who, but Saitama defeated him. Now, last season stepped things up in almost every way. This might be an unpopular opinion. I don't care. It's the correct opinion. In my eyes, at least. Season 2 is so drastically better than Season 1. The only thing that is weaker is the animation, and the animation's not bad. People who try to say the animation for Season 2 is bad pick out, very specific frames and try to paint, the entire season as being like that. They're not. It's not. It's just, they're nitpicking very specific frames. They do this with a lot of animation, and it's just not a fair way of looking at things, because most of 99% of the animation looks still pretty amazing. It's just that 1%, those few frames that you find that look a little wonky. And the thing is, it's just not as good as the first season. The first season's animation was phenomenal. It was done by Madhouse, and then they switched to a different studio for season 2. For one reason or another. And I think it's the same studio as Season 2 that's doing 3. But the animation still looks really great. But people are going to bitch because it's not the animation of Season 1. But that's literally, again, the only thing that's weaker than Season 1. Everything else is, drastically better. The storytelling, the character work, the designs, the humor, everything. The voice acting even improved. The soundtrack, everything is better in Season 2 than Season 1. And I presume Season 3 is going to keep that track. At least I hope so. I don't mind the animation not being god-tier animation. Yes, Season 1 of One Punch Man had phenomenal level of animation. It was, insane how good it was. But I'm fine with the anime's animation taking a cut because of a switch to a different studio. If it still means that the story gets told and, overall gets better in terms of, again, storytelling and writing, character work, etc., humor, all of that's more important than the animation. And that goes for pretty much any series, by the way. Animation is almost never at the top of the hierarchy, for lack of a better word at the moment. It's never the top of the chain when it counts to what matters in an animated series. I've seen plenty of animated series with very stilted or weaker animation that are better than a lot of shows that have phenomenal animation. I've seen shows from decades past that are better than modern shows that, are animated a lot better. Animation means nothing. Storytelling, character work, those are the most important. Writing and dialogue are much more important than any animation will ever be. Good animation is a plus. It is a positive, but it is a plus. It's not necessary. It's always good to see, but you can live without it. And so, again, though, season two's animation was not bad. It was still really good. It just wasn't as good as season one's. And so I'm expecting another great season here. Um, I really liked Garo as a villain, quote unquote. Because the thing is, Garo to me never read as a full villain, and I think that's the point. You're supposed to be able to see Garo's point of view. Was bullied as a kid, and he grew up to see heroes as bullies, as those who would beat up on those weaker than them, as those who would turn others into, you know, villains and monsters to suit their own selfish needs, to suit their own selfish desires to, play the hero. And he feels betrayed by society. He feels like society has turned its back on the weaker, on the less fortunate, those who aren't powerful. And that's why we see him connect with this kid. We see him and the kid connect really well, and he forms a bond with someone who's not tainted by this world yet. Like, who Garo kind of reminds me of in a way? He kind of reminds me of Stain from My Hero Academia. Stain was another guy who was not really a villain, but became took that kind of role specifically to go after heroes that he felt were corrupted, that he felt were, not acting like heroes. And Garo feels very much the same way. Garo's just willing to take it another step beyond. He's willing to become the villain, to fight against the heroes who have just abandoned true heroism in his eyes. And so it's really hard to fault him. Obviously Garo is not the best person. Obviously he's, a bit messed up from everything, and he obviously again is wanting to be a villain. He wants to be a monster. He's the human monster. And so he's definitely been in turn corrupted by his own, feelings of abandonment and mistreatment. But he knows this. He's, I think, very self-aware. And he understands that he's the bad guy in this, and he's choosing to be the bad guy in this. So he's a really, really interesting character. And it seems like he's going to be a major focus for a while, which I'm all for. We had set up for this monster association, I believe it was called, because I think it's just the Hero Association, just monster instead. Last season, we got to see a bunch of these new monsters and everything, and I think we got a glimpse at the leader of the association. And so I'm very interested to tackle that more. That was a very fascinating touch. We also met King in season 2, who is one of the top heroes. He's not number 1, but he's one of the top heroes. And he's a charlatan, but unintentionally so. He's not that powerful at all. He doesn't have that much strength or, ability or anything. he kind of has accidentally taken credit for like the work Saitama and others have done completely unintentionally. He did not mean to do it. He was just in the right place at the right time, and people assumed he did stuff. And he has like this very notable heartbeat that people like view as a big thing with him. But in reality, it's like just him being scared because he's a coward. He's terrified of monsters and everything. Um, but we do see like he's a good person. He is a genuinely good person. He's just, he's not really a hero. And I think that's a very fascinating and funny like archetype to play around with here. We also had, I believe season 2, I believe she was introduced in season 2. Fubuki, Hellish Blizzard, Tatsumaki's sister. I think, yeah, because I think it was just Tatsumaki in season 1. And Fubuki was introduced in season 2. But we had a lot of her last season either way. And she's great. She's wonderful. She's hilarious. She's really fun. I like her personality. And I just enjoy seeing her interact with Saitama and Tatsumaki and others. Tatsumaki is still probably my favorite character. I just love her gremlin energy, how much of a bitch she is. Because she's the older sister between her and Fubuki, but she looks very little. But she's like 29 or something like that. And she's very bitchy and like, and not really antagonistic, but very confrontational. But she does do hero work. She absolutely does. We also had other heroes that were touched on last season, like Super Luster Black Alloy or whatever his name was. There was Watchdog, Child Genius. I think was in season 1, actually. I think he was in season 1. I know Atomic Samurai was in season 1, but we got to see him with his sister last season, which was adorable, by the way. And just various other heroes here and there. Yeah, I have really been like enjoying this series, and I'm very excited that season 3 is finally here. Again, it's been 6 years. And mind you, COVID is probably, partially at fault for that. But sometimes things just take a while to get made. Like, a lot of people complain about having to wait so long, but it's like, I'm willing to wait as long as the content is good, as long as it's worth it. Yeah, it sucks having to wait. I don't want to wait, but I'm willing to. I'm willing to put that on myself. I'm willing to like get annoyed at having to wait if it means it's going to lead to greater content. So, yeah. Oh, and by the way, we were technically supposed to start this last week because that's when it said it was going to start. But in reality, last week was just a recap episode. It wasn't episode 1 of the season. And I really get irritated when shows do that. Don't say the show is going to be starting on a certain date, but then only have a recap episode on that date. It's just like, don't do that. You're lying to people when you do that. So, yeah, we are just going to get into this, check it out, and hope for the best. So, let's see what we have in store for Season 3. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So first off, before anything, I want to say this is actually my second time recording these afterthoughts because the first time got kind of fucked up. I on my headphones, it has these little buttons here. You can see the volume control, but it has these little buttons here as well. And if I have a YouTube tab open that has like a video or something, and I press like the button, like just press it, it can sometimes start to play. And when I was I was turning off my headphones, like because they were automatically on from when I was recording. I was turning them off for the afterthoughts, and I think I accidentally pressed the button before I like actually held it to turn things off, and I started to play the YouTube tab that was open without realizing it. And so the entire afterthoughts have like background sound of the YouTube video going. And it's just like, well, I can't put that up. That's scuffed. So this is the second attempt at this. But let's talk about this episode. Let's talk about this beginning of the season. So I was talking about in the pre-thoughts how with JC staff having taken over, the animation has taken a downturn, and we do see that here. There's different points in this episode where the animation's just, it's not great. Like there's even like a point where like very early on, right at the beginning, where it's the Hero Association, their council talking, and you see that there's a still shot for like maybe 10-15 seconds of just like the back of like one of their heads and like the others around, and they're talking still, but you're not seeing any movement whatsoever. And you know people are going to complain about that. You know that's going to be like the big complaint. Oh, the animation is like stilted. It's boring. There's nothing happening. It's so like just still. And it's like, yes, you are correct. But one, you know that they're saving up that budget for the actual action sequences, the things that you want to see the good animation for. And two, it doesn't change that the story and the character work in this first episode, the writing and dialogue and everything, are fantastic. Like, that is still the most important aspects. Like, you can live with the animation not being great. Or at least I can. I mean, if that's really that important to you, I mean, I guess it's all subjective, but it just feels like that's silly. The story and the character work is like what the show is all about, so... And that's on full display here. Starting right off, we have like half of the episode just instantly dedicated to the Hero Association and seeing how they're handling the aftermath of all of this with Centauro, with Garo, and just honestly the massive threat coming their way with this monster association. We have a hostage situation still going on, and just everything kind of seems fucked. Like, everything is against the Hero Association and the citizens in this moment. We see the heroes starting to, like, get ready and prepare, but there's not too much they can do at the moment. Puri Puri Prisoner is going to be getting active. We see Tatsumaki with Super Alloy Blackluster and Pig God. We see Child Emperor working to find out information, also talking with Metal Knight, who, you know, is dealing with, you know, being taken down at the moment too. And also mentioning, oh, if I reveal where the Monster Association hideout is right now, that would also lead to the hostage being killed. So it's a lose-lose situation. This kind of tension, this kind of like intensity right off the bat is amazing. It's so good. And it feels like a proper follow-up from the events of last season. Because season 1 was good, but it didn't really have a lot of good storytelling. That's not really what it was about. It was about the coolness. It was about the action. Season 2 is where the storytelling really came into play. And it escalated really quickly with that. The story became front and center and started to introduce the Monster Association, everything else happening with Garo, and just became like this bigger deal. And now with season 3... we're delving further into that. We get to see that that the aftermath of everything that happened last time is taking a massive toll on society. It's causing a lot of problems, and everything is kind of fucked at the moment. So it really lends itself to showing that this season is going to be a much bigger deal. And that's also shown in the opening. The opening feels more harrowing, more dark, more intense. Um, I would put this new opening kind of in between the other two. I think opening one is still probably the best for season one. Season two's opening I think is weaker than this one, but is still really good. We have Jam Project back because, of course we have Jam Project. We have to have them. But they're joined this time by Baby Metal, and that's so cool. Baby Metal the past few years has been really just like leaping up in popularity, even beyond the already hugely popular level that they already had. They've just been really like ramping up with that. And I love seeing them now like being able to do an anime theme for like this big series. That's just really cool. That's awesome to see and hear. Um, in this episode, like halfway through, we finally get to see Saitama when Fubuki comes to see him and sees that Silver Fang Bang is also there, and his brother, I think, Bomb. He's there as well. King is playing games with him. Not Garo. Genos is, just kind of relaxing after having been like really fucked up and needing to be fixed and everything. Um, we see that Bang has his ass cheeks out. He's getting acupuncture and stuff, and it's like, dude is like, you don't need to. You, you don't need to have your cheeks out for that. I think the needles were mostly in his back, but it's like, hey, you do you, my dude. You do you. Um, but Fubuki is trying to like strategize with them, and it's not working. Bang and Bomb can't really do much right now because of their injuries. King just doesn't want to because let's be honest, he's a coward. So and Genos can't because also of his injuries. He needs to get repaired. So it comes down to Saitama and Fubuki, but Saitama is just, he just wants to go find Garo because Garo's been ignoring him. He feels slighted by that. And so he heads out to try and find Garo to see why he didn't go after him. And Fubuki's like, I'm dealing with idiots here. Which is absolutely true. But, not everybody's going to be as strategically minded as you. Also, she still thinks they're going to join her group. That's not happening. Um, and of course, we get to see Garo in the Monster Association. We get to see Gioro, who is one of the leaders, and they recruit him to be a leader as well, under the condition that he's able to kill a hunter, a hero within a time limit. We see that the Monster Association has also captured this elite task force that was sent after them, and now thanks to the sexy whip girl, I can't remember her name right now. They are now enslaved to follow her, so that's wonderful. Um, we also get to see a little bit of Monster King Orochi, and just yeah, everything is looking very dire. And of course, we have the post-credits scene with Speed of Sound Sonic making his return. We see that he had eaten the monster cells and everything. I don't remember if that was shown last season, because I don't remember if Speed of Sound Sonic was in much of last season. He was in season one, notably, and he was even in one or two of the the specials that were between seasons one and two. I don't remember if he was in much of season two. But he was eating the monster cells either way to become, like, to gain power from them. But he doesn't actually want to work with the Monster Association. He's just after Saitama because he's a petty little bitch. But he's also hot. He is a hot, petty little bitch. So I can forgive his pettiness. Also, he's kind of a cutie. Like, we saw that in one of the specials. He had made an animal friend. I don't remember what kind of animal it was. But he made an animal friend and it was really cute. But yeah, this episode just does a lot of setup. It's a very like straightforward episode that is setting things up for both the Hero Association and the Monster Association, getting Garo back on the streets, and really making sure that everything is like prepared for the future. And again, I can completely get behind the animation not being as great here because of that. Because I know it's gonna be like a lot better during the action sequences. Hell, the opening even showcases a lot better animation, so we know they're just saving it right now. But I really like this first episode because it sets up a lot really well. It really just sets the tone extremely well. And the storytelling and character work already is fantastic. I looked up the voice cast in the original take I took of these afterthoughts, and apparently none of the voice actors, none of the main ones at least, have changed. I thought like Tatsumaki and Saitama sounded a little different, but I guess maybe it's just because it's been so long. And maybe the last time I watched this was in the dub with like a reaction or something, which still would have been years ago. So it might be that that's like kind of messing me up as well. I don't know for sure, but yeah, it's just they're not different. The voice actors are still the same from what I could find. Again, at least for the major characters. Um, so yeah, all in all, I would say this was a great first episode. I think that it just went really well. I really like what they're setting up here. I like the darker tone. And based on the opening, it looks like we're going to get like really crazy this season in terms of the fights that are going to happen, the confrontations. It looked like in the opening that Saitama was maybe going to actually come face to face with Monster King Orochi, but I mean, that might just be like a cool visual for the opening. Sometimes the openings don't actually tell you exactly what's going to happen. It's just like showing kind of like the two sides of things facing off. One Piece has done that a lot, for example. There's like multiple openings where it's like Luffy facing off against like characters like Blackbeard and whatnot, even though he pretty much never has actually faced off against Blackbeard. Like the closest thing we got for that was in Impel Down. And it like there's like one or two openings that show Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji taking on the admirals, and it's like that just hasn't happened. So it's like it's one of those occasions where the opening is showing like these kind of matchups that like you would expect or want to happen, but are more like just for the hype of the opening more than anything, which is fine. But I would like to see Saitama and Orochi come face to face. That would be cool, even if it doesn't end up in too much of a fight, because we know Saitama would one punch him. That's literally the gag of this series. So I guess we'll have to see how this goes. We'll have to see what actually happens here. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very happy to be back with this after 6 years away. It's been 6 years since season two. 2019 is when it came out, and I did react to it. If you want to check out my reactions to season two, haven't seen those, you can check those out on the channel. Um, yeah, that all being said, thank you so much as always for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.